Hey, this is Russ. Time for another health update. Yeah, Mondays we have health updates. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays we have e-bike videos. So tune in accordingly. Or watch them both, whichever you feel like doing. So this week, how did we do with the issues with the diabetes? Well, I have another CGM on my arm. CGM stands for Continuous Glucose Monitor. And so for the past 2 weeks, I had a different type of monitor. I think it's made by the same company. I think it was the Freestyle Libre 2 that's made by Abbott Labs. And now I have the Libre 3. Now the 2, you get the data, but you have to go in to the diabetes educator and have her take the data off of your sensor. But the new version, the Libre 3, allows you to see it on your phone. So I was looking forward to this one. Now, these things do cost a certain amount of money. We'll talk about that in a second. But I got a sample unit given to me by her. And so I can try it out, see if I like it. And then if it's something that the endocrinologist will prescribe to me, I might be able to get a couple more of these things. But there is, of course, a copay. So let's talk about that first, okay? I contacted my insurance company and I asked them if my endocrinologist prescribes me one of these units, can I get it? And does the insurance cover it? And if so, what is the copay? All right. So they told me that there's two units that they would recommend, but the one that I have on now is not the recommended unit. I think it's probably because it's more expensive. The recommended unit from them is made by a company called Dexcom, and I think it's the Dexcom, is it DL7? Is that the model number? Something like that. And they said, but if you want the other unit, which is the one I have on my arm right now, that's the Libre 3, it costs a little bit more money for your copay. So the cost is set up this way. Now the Dexcom, the one I don't have, the units work for about 10 days. And then after 10 days, you need to put another unit on. So for a month, you're typically going to need 3 of these units in 1 month, okay? But the other one, the one I have on now, the Libre 3, that goes for 14 days. So you'll get 28 days out of it. So you need 2 units per month, all right? So she said per month, if you went with the Dexcom, the one that they recommend to go with, the copay would be $35 a month. So I would be getting 10 units for $35 a month. Total cost, $35 a month. And if I went with the one I have on my arm now, the Libre 3, Libre is spelled Libre. Interesting spelling. You would get 2 units for $75 for the month. Okay, because it's based on a 30-day supply. So 2 units for that one, 3 units for the other one, $35 for the 3-unit one, $75 for the 2-unit one. It seems kind of weird because, you know, you're getting less units, but it costs you more money. But so be it. That's the way it is. So what is the main difference between the two? From what I can tell, and I've been watching some various YouTube videos about it, the one I have on is a lower profile unit. So like I said, it kind of looks like an Apple AirTag, if you know what that looks like. It's about the same size, thickness, that kind of thing. So it's kind of low profile, but the Dexcom is definitely thicker. So the problem is, you know, you put this on your arm and you kind of stick it in there and there's a little needle that goes on into your arm. You can knock that off easier if it's too thick, right? Whereas less prone to be knocked off if it's thinner. So the Libre 3 is actually better in that sense, but I think both units have similar type functions in that you know, you can kind of tell what your blood glucose is. I always have a problem saying that. It doesn't actually measure the actual blood glucose because in a sense you don't really you're not really sticking it and getting blood out of it. It measures, I think, some of the fluids or something in the cells of your body, and then interprets that and tells you what it believes the blood glucose is. It's a tough thing to say, but it's so close in values that it's kind of negligible. You just kind of want to know: are you spiking this thing going high, or are you not? Or is it going lower than you need to be, or are you not? That's really what you're looking for. Okay. So the recommended setting of this on this unit is set for 70 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, that's mg/dl, I believe, milligrams per deciliter. 70 up to 180 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, that's the acceptable range while you're going out throughout your day, whether you're eating, whether you're at rest, whatever. Okay, so it doesn't want you to go higher than 180, and it doesn't want you to go lower than 70. All right. So only one time my thing actually dropped below 70. It dropped, I think, did like 68. So an alarm goes off on your phone telling you, hey, your blood sugar is low. But it only happened for maybe, I don't know, a minute, and then went back up again. So those type of things you can kind of, it's negligible. It doesn't matter, right? But if it was dropping way below 70 and was staying down there, then you got a problem at that point. So, and the same thing in the other way. If you go higher than the 180, like if you eat something and the thing just spikes it and it goes over 180, then you got a problem, right? Okay. So having said that, I ate several different things this week because I've been playing with it. I wanted to see if I eat this, what does that do in terms of the blood glucose level? Does it shoot it up or does it do nothing to me? All right. So now, whenever I was eating the salads with the homemade dressing, okay, the homemade dressing is what is it? 3 parts of extra virgin olive oil from Costco, and 1 part of apple cider vinegar. I also put in a little bit of spicy brown mustard in there to kind of mask the taste of the apple cider vinegar a little bit. Then it tastes like mustard. So, and then also a little bit of sugar. I put 1 teaspoon of sugar for, what is that grand total? It's like 8 ounces of combined units. Okay, I put about 1 teaspoon of sugar in there as well. And that again is negligible because it's spread out over 8 ounces. Okay, now I told you guys before that I was putting in a lot of dressing on my salads. My salads are fairly big. It's a big kind of bowl. I thought I was doing like 3 ounces worth of dressing, but no. As I took a look at it closer, I put it anywhere between 1 to 1.5 ounces of dressing, this type of dressing. I think if it was Thousand Island or some type of creamy dressing, I would probably be using like 3 ounces because it sticks to one leaf and it doesn't cover the other leaves. You know what I'm talking about? But because it's olive oil, when you toss the salad, it kind of gets on everything. So I only use like 1 to 1.5 ounces of this pre-made concoction that I have for salad dressing. Now, my concern with the salad dressing, as I said before, is that the carbohydrate count on the olive oil and the apple cider vinegar is essentially negligible because there's really nothing really there. But the calorie count of the dressing was, I think, 120 calories for every tablespoon. So in a 1 ounce thing, you'd have 2 tablespoons. So 1 ounce of that would be basically, what did I say, 120? So it'd be about 240 calories every time I do the salad dressing. And if it's 1.5 ounces, then obviously it's higher than that. So it would be about 300 calories on the dressing if you do 1.5. So the salad, let's talk real quickly about the salad since we're already talking about it. Same thing again. It's romaine lettuce. Okay, I'm also putting in some spring mix, so you have more greens than just a typical romaine lettuce. And then I usually put in a couple slices of cucumber in there. And I'll have some sprinkling of shredded mozzarella cheese, very small amount, very little actually. And then I sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese as well, kind of give it some flavor, something different than just lettuce. And then I have put in a couple of carrot slices as well, very small amount of that. And that's basically my salad, okay? So that's most of the things that I'm eating. And so those things don't really spike the glucose level because there really isn't any sugar to say. I mean, there's a little bit in the dressing, but you're talking 1 teaspoon over 8 ounces, and I'm only using 1 ounce. So really, it's not a whole lot. It's negligible at that point. And there's really no carbs going on there too. I mean, very small amount, if anything, but there's very little. It's again, negligible. So it doesn't spike anything. It kind of just sits there. You can eat it and nothing happens. Oh, and I have some chicken too. I usually put one drumstick in there. That doesn't spike it either because there's no carbs, right? And the way I make the chicken is basically I just boil the chicken drumsticks. I had put some soy sauce on it before, but then I realized the soy sauce has salt in there, and that of course can spike your blood sugar, your blood pressure. So I've taken that out. Now it's just kind of just boiling it. Yeah, it's kind of bland, but think about it. You've got the salad dressing on there too, so it's really not that bland, right? So that's fine. So what else did I try to eat? Well, I said, well, I'm really missing my pizza. So my wife says, well, why don't you try some cauliflower pizza? You guys know what that is? That's, where the crust is made out of cauliflower. So we went to Costco and we bought the Kirkland brand of cauliflower pizza. You get 2 in there. I don't think these pizzas are that big. What is that, about maybe 12-inch pizzas? So I calculated based on the carb content that I can't have any more than a quarter of the pizza. I think the quarter of the pizza, the carb content, I'll put a graphic up here. I'm probably going to say it wrong because I'm just taking it off the top of my head, but the graphic will tell you exactly what it is. I think it was like something like, I don't know, 40 grams, something in the 40 range, something like that. And I was told that I shouldn't go over like 35 grams of carbs at any given meal. I said, it's only 5, it's not that bad. Let's just do it. So I ate about a quarter of the pizza every time I tried it. So the first time I tried it, I think my blood glucose started out at like a 125 level. Okay, still not bad. After I ate it, and it takes a while before it starts spiking. Okay, they usually say take a look at it in about 2 hours or so. But I could see it rising, so I just kind of tracked it. I think it went over to like 182, something like that. So it went way up there. So I go, oh, that's not good. Maybe it's just a fluke. So I tried it again. Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. Did it again, same thing. Spiked it all the way up to 180 something. And then I said, well, this time, the next time I ate it, I'm not going to do a quarter of the pizza. I'm going to do an eighth of the pizza. Let's see what that does, okay? I figured it'll drop it to half of that. And sure enough, it was in the 145 range, something like that. So on the final slice of the pizza, I said, you know what? I'm going to do an eighth of the pizza. You know how small these slices are getting? They're really small. I'm going to do an eighth of the pizza. Let's see what that does. And that went up to 125-ish or so, something like that, from a level of like 105. So every time I cut it in half, I could see that thing just drop in half. But think about it. It was only a quarter of a small frozen pizza that, I mean, you would think that's not going to do much. And it's supposed to be better for you because it's a cauliflower thing. No, that thing brought it up to its maximum level of where I could be over the 180 level. So we decided, yeah, the cauliflower pizza is not going to happen for me. Can't do it. All right, so here's what we did. We had a coupon for a regular pizza at a local pizza place. Okay, so I says, okay, I'm going to order, I don't know if it was a 12-inch. I think it was a 14-inch pizza. Yeah, I ordered a 14-inch pizza with sausage and cheese on there, okay? So here's what I did. I'll show you the pizza, and I'll show you the pizza amount that I ate. So that empty hole area is what I ate. So essentially it's like 2 of those squares that they cut it into. I ate 2 of those squares. The 2 squares, and this now we're talking decent pizza now, right? We're not talking frozen pizza stuff. We're talking, pizzeria pizza, good stuff, right? I think that thing only went up to, what was it, 150 something? So I'm going, wow, I mean, that's not a cauliflower pizza or anything like that. It's a regular bread dough type pizza. And it was actually less than eating the cauliflower pizza. How do you like that? So here's what we decided to do, okay? I can't eat that thing like that all the time. So I says, okay, I'm going to strip this pizza. I'm just going to eat the cheese and the sausage, because I kind of knew that wouldn't really spike anything. And I says, you know what? Mrs. Wright can have the crust, which she's okay with because she doesn't typically eat cheese and she doesn't really like the sausage anyway. So I stripped it. She had the bottom half of it. I had the top half of it. And when I did that, of course, the cheese and the sausage doesn't do anything to it because there really wasn't much sugar content in that. and then she ate the crust. Yeah, we're a little weird that way, but it worked. Okay, so that was her bread content. It was basically pizza crust going forward. So so I can have pizza, but I have to strip it. Now I kept thinking, what about Costco? You guys know that I like Costco pizza, right? I mean, it's not as good as pizzeria pizza, but it's a quickie thing. I can just go there, get what I need. Okay. Well, I was looking at the carb content of that pizza, and you know they make really big slices when you go and pay for the $1.99 thing at the food court. I can't have that whole thing. Even if I cut it in half, okay, it would probably be higher than I should be. So I decided I can't have the Costco pizza. It's so sad. What about the hot dog? Because I said, can I do the hot dog at least? So 3 times this week, yeah, I know it's a lot, I went there for lunch and got a hot dog. So what I did is I took half of the hot dog bun. Okay, so I took half of the bun, threw away the top half, ate the bottom half, ate the hot dog itself, and only put mustard on there, which is fine because you're from Chicago. You guys know the Chicago guys don't put ketchup on the hot dog, right? You know, I actually do, but hey, don't tell anybody. But I can't do it now because ketchup has a lot of sugar in there. And of course, no relish because that has sugar in there. So hot dog with mustard only, half a bun. Okay, and those are fairly big hot dogs from Costco. Yeah, no problem. It brought it to the 145 range, something like that. Sometimes up to 150 range. But again, still well within the 180. And then, of course, after the time goes by, it comes back down again. So, and then I get a Diet Pepsi too, because Diet Coke and Pepsi type products do not affect your blood sugar. It's not good for you, but it doesn't affect your blood sugar. So, so I did it 3 times to check it, and each time it was 150 or under. So at least I can have a Costco hot dog when I go to Costco if I want. All right, so that's what's happening in that area. So how's the diet part going? I'm still down 22 to 23 pounds. Have not lost any additional stuff. So I'm sitting, I think the last count was 245.6. I remember that because it's like 456. 245.6. We were at 268 to 269 range. So we're down about 22 pounds, roughly, right? Something like that, give or take. So it didn't go up, but it hasn't gone down either. But again, I've been playing with foods this week, seeing how it goes. Oh, one more thing I did eat. Ribs. Yeah, I made ribs. Now, typically I smoke these on smokers outside, but I didn't smoke it. Just put it in the oven, and I put rub on it, right? So I sprinkled on the rub, which has things like salt and, you know, whatever other stuff it's on there. But again, no carbs on there. So I says, I'm going to eat a bunch of these ribs, and I ate like half a rack of ribs, okay? What did it do to the blood glucose? Nothing. Didn't even register. So it's not like I'm stuck eating salads. I can eat other stuff. You just got to make sure that the carb content is down or very low, and that there's no sugar on it. If you do that, you can eat whatever you want. All right. You're not going to do any good for your calorie count if you just eat anything you want. But in terms of the blood glucose level, doesn't do anything to it. Yeah. So yeah. So I had some fun and I ate a whole slab of ribs later. Yeah, I finished off those ribs. You know, if you have salad all the time, a rib is a nice distraction from the salad, right? So yeah, I can have other stuff, but you're not going to lose weight. So yeah, that's where we are in terms of the food. So what about this monitoring thing? Which of these 2 things am I going to get, if I get it at all? We kind of talked about it, me and Mrs. Wright, and we just said that you don't really need it all the time. You know, I think maybe for the first month or 2, you want to have it just because you want to see how things affect it. And I think I would be willing to pay the $75 and get the lower profiled version, you know, the one that I'm wearing right now. Because, you know, when it's thicker, you can rub up against things. You know, your clothing, as you take that off, could rip it right off, and then you have to stick it back in your arm. I mean, every time you stick it in your arm, you're basically poking yourself with the needle. So I don't want to keep doing that. So I think I would be willing to pay the $75 if it's prescribed to me. But I don't think I'm going to take it forever because I don't need to keep paying out $75 every single month. Once I know what foods do to me and what foods are good, what foods are not, then I don't see the real need to kind of keep checking it all the time and keep paying out that $75. So I have not been doing the finger prick test, okay? I keep saying I was going to show you guys how to do it, but I haven't been doing it for the last couple weeks, simply because with the monitoring system in my arm, I don't really need to poke myself, but I did get some additional supplies, all right? Now, I had asked for 300 of these little needle things called the lancets and 300 test strips, because I figured that's like a 3-month supply for me, because it comes in hundreds. You don't need quite 100 for a month, but that's all they sell it in, is 100 at a time. So I asked for 300, and then that got flagged. And the doctor's office said, why do you need 300? That would be a lot. I says, well, because I do a test in the morning and I do a test before I eat something at night. So basically I need 2 of those things per day. Figured it all out. I figured 300, because they only sell it in hundreds, would last me for 3 months. And typically when you have something for 3 months, you'll get a discount on stuff. Even like other prescriptions, if you get a 3-month supply, your copay will be, well, not always, but on this one, the copay would be like if you pay for 2 months of supply, but you get 3 months of supply for your copay, all right? Well, apparently the insurance company won't cover that. They only cover 200 of these units. So we ended up bringing it down to 200 for a 2-month supply if I'm not checking it with the CGM. And so the lancets were about $38 copay for the 200 units. But the 200 units of the test strips was how much was that thing? I think it was like $16. So it seemed like the lancets cost more than the test strips, all right? At least for copay. But that I have them ready in case I need to go back to checking it that way. But until the thing on my arm is no longer there, I don't see the need to poke myself anymore until that point. So that's what we're doing for the supplies, okay? As far as the other things, blood pressure still seems to be the same. It seems to hover in the range of about 145, let's say between 145 and 150 range, over about 80. Yeah, so the lower number seems to be better, and they said that that's the one you're more concerned with, but the upper numbers always still remain the same. Now, I think that's probably because of exercise. If I exercise more, then maybe I can get it lower. And that's also, people said it could be because you have too much salt in your diet. That's possible too, right? So that's why I said, the whole thing with the soy sauce, with the chicken, got to cut that out too. So try to cut out as much salt. Eating the hot dogs wasn't a help too, but I'm playing with things. So right now I'm more concerned with, what foods can I do, what foods can't I do. I will tell you this, I am looking at the carb content and sugar content on almost everything that I want to eat. So yeah, that's not good. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I had these things called fish snacks. Did I tell you about that or not? Well, actually, it's like a dried fish. It's a Chinese thing. Okay, I'll show you a picture. And I probably had maybe 15 to 17 of these little dried fish things. I used to eat it all the time, but we got some of these things, and so I said, let me have some of that for snacks. Man, that thing jumped up the blood glucose level way up there. So I says, I can't do that anymore. So some foods, I would think dried fish. I mean, how much carbs could that thing have? But there's some carbs in there, and maybe other things too. So anyway, not doing that. And here's another interesting thing that I saw jump up, okay? Stress. If you're stressed for whatever reason, your blood sugar jumps up. Yeah, so anyways, on Sunday, I play guitar at church and the like, and it's always a little stressful situation when you're up on stage. You're always kind of expecting certain things. And some of the things were not going perfectly well for that particular Sunday. So it stressed me a little bit as, we're getting ready to play at church and the like. And I looked at the blood glucose monitor. It went up to 220. I had never seen anything jump that thing that high up. So, and it took a while for it to kind of come down for the day. So it just, yeah, I didn't think that stress would do that. But I guess you release sugars when you're stressed. So I'm learning a little bit about all this stuff. So yeah, Russ needs to be calm all the time now. And don't eat anything that has carbs and sugar in it because that'll mess you up. So yeah, I'm learning. There's things you got to be careful of when you're a diabetic. So yeah, maybe that'll make me more laid back. I have to be laid back or the thing's gonna spike, right? Got to be more laid back, figure things out, what you're gonna eat and the like. So, but overall, the diabetes is doing well. I'm controlling things pretty well. Based on the graphs and stuff that I see, it showed me at about 98% of the time I'm in perfect, acceptable conditions. I think it was estimating at that point, like I was between 5.9 and 6% for your estimated A1Cs. You know, A1C is a 3-month thing, so this thing's only looking at it for up to 14 days. But it kind of guesstimates based on those few days that you were doing it. If you continue doing like that, what would you do? And it came out to 5.9 and 6, something like that. Now we want to be, I think, in the mid 5s, maybe 5.6, something like that. I think if I didn't have that one stress level happen on Sunday, then I probably would be better because it has to average that thing in there too. All right. So anyway, overall, still I'm doing pretty good. We'll continue with these updates as long as there's new things to talk about. I will continue to keep doing it. So watch on Mondays for health updates for me, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for e-bike related things. All right. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and if you found this interesting, go ahead and hit that like button because that'll help me and help the video out, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Everybody always tells you to do that, but it really does help out the channel when you do that, okay? Anyways, I'll talk to you guys on the e-bike videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Have a good day. Thank you.